Okay, so we back in business. Sorry, y'all. I had no more interruptions. I'm gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay, so this video can go two ways, y'all. I ain't gonna be boo-hooing, crying on here, but I just get very emotional when I talk about God, and that is the topic of the conversation on how I got closer to God. And I just hope whoever this reaches, like, you know, my journey, hope you get to your journey of getting closer to God, and just how, you know, just keep bullet points that you can use when getting closer to God. I've been meant to make this video, and today I was like, God, if I'm doing everything that you want me to do, if there's something that I'm missing or something that you want me to do, like, let me know and I'll do it. And I had watched this like video about something, and I was like, God, ain't no way somebody's gonna believe this. Like, why didn't they not believe this? And God was like, well, why are you not sharing my God? Like, why are you not sharing your testimony? Like, why are you not sharing what I brought you through to show somebody and bring them to me so they don't believe what's gonna happen in the deceit of the devil? And I was like,
okay, God, like, I get it.
you know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna see a book, and I'm gonna talk about everything, but I'm just gonna talk about everything here. But if you want to see a book, I'm gonna have to be more detailed about just everything that has been through in life. But this is how I got closer to God, and how I built my relationship with God, and how, you know, what he brought me through, and what, you know, what I've learned so far, if that makes sense. So we just chilling, y'all. So get your little sipping, whatever y'all gotta do. Even if you smoke, y'all, like, as long as you're getting closer to God, God will remove everything that's distracting you if he needs to remove it out your life. So get whatever you need to get. You know what I'm saying? This is judge-free zone here. Don't judge nothing. If you're here to judge, then exit the video. You know what I'm saying? But let's just get started. So how, basically, my story of how I got closer to God, and basically what God put me through to bring me to the woman I am today. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I've been through some toxic shit, like awesome, like unbelievable stuff. Like, you wouldn't believe the shit that I tell you, because it's like, yo, that shit really happened to you. But I went through some really toxic shit, and I was at a very low point in my life. And when you be depressed for so long, like, I was depressed since I was like 13 years old, all the way until like I was 18, 19 years old. When you're that depressed for so long, you don't see a purpose in life. Like, you don't see that anything is helping you. You don't see that anything is, you don't see love. You don't see nothing. You just see the negative portions in life. And there was times where, like, I was like, fuck, like, I can't do this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do this shit no more. I don't want to be here no more. Like, fuck it. You know? And not for nothing, y'all, like, I always knew who God was. I was always in the church. I grew up knowing who God was. I knew there was a God, but I didn't know who God was. Like, you know how there's in the Bible, I'm not going to say it right to right, but in the Bible, it does state that, like, God will state, like, you know who I am, but you don't know who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't know me. And I didn't know who God was. I knew who God was, but I didn't know who God was. I didn't know the power that God held, or the purpose that God had in my life. I just know that there was a God, and I just knew that you needed to believe in God, but I didn't know what he could really do in my life, other than, you know, what I learned when I was a little girl. And so when I was really depressed, I had to hit a very low toxic point in my life, and like I said, I knew who God was. I knew who God was. I knew that, you know, there was a God, and I was so depressed, and I was just like I had went through so much events in my life, you know what I'm saying, where it was like, okay, it's time for me to go. Like, I can't do this. And before my breaking point, y'all, I prayed a prayer, and I was like, God, you know, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need you here. Like, please just bring me into a better place. Bring me into a better situation. Bring me out of this situation because I cannot do this anymore. And it took about 6 months, y'all. 6 months before I broke down fully. And I know a lot of people be like, well, see, that's just so long. Like, if God truly loves you, like, why would he put you through that? But at the end of the day, like, it wasn't like I was doing anything to bring myself out of the situation. It wasn't like I was bettering myself in the situation. It wasn't like I was trying in the situation. Yeah, I prayed, but I wasn't praying consistently. I was praying here and then, and, you know, I wasn't giving my full attention to God. So it wasn't like, how do you expect... It's like, you know, it's like you're giving a gift to somebody. How do you expect somebody to have a gift and give a gift to you if you don't have no gratitude for what they already gave you? So I wasn't doing it consistently, you know? And by this time, y'all, my mental just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I snapped. I didn't want to be here no more. I was so depressed. I was so just drained. Like, I felt like I've been doing this cycle for years, over years, over years, over years, over years. And it felt like nothing was happening. Like, it just felt like, you know, and at a point in time, like, y'all, I was mad. I was like, God, like, you're not hearing me. Like, why am I in this same situation that I'm currently in? Like, why does this keep happening? And I snapped. And the thing that was holding me into life was no longer holding me into life here anymore. And I just felt like, you know, fuck it, like, you know, my son's better off. Like, I just cannot do this shit no more. And I will never forget, y'all, like, when you're not dark, depressed stage in life, I don't know how to really explain depression, but depression is real. And the thing with, when it comes to depression, it feels like the devil is literally choking you to death. And you just cannot get out of the hole. Like, it felt like all my demons were around me 25 minutes. And I never got a breather. I couldn't catch my breath. It felt like everything at once just was crumbling and it was suffocating me. And then at that moment, it felt like the devil was just sitting there with his hands around my neck, and I was gonna be gone. And I prayed one last time, and I was like, God, if there's a purpose in my life, a greater purpose, if I'm gonna get out of this, if I'm gonna, you know, if this is not it, you know, let me stay alive. And I don't know, y'all, at that point I got real sleepy, real tired, like, and I fell asleep. And then during this time, y'all, I live in Texas, so I don't know if y'all remember that ice storm that happened in Texas a couple years ago, but during that time, during that ice storm, my apartment flooded. So, like, literally that shit happened, and then probably like 2 days afterwards, my apartment flooded. And I'm like, fuck, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at this point, I just was like, I'm alive. Like, I don't remember going to sleep. I don't remember none of that. Like, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. And then my apartment flooded. And at this time, y'all, I'm still like, you know, I'm talking to God, but when I'm talking to God, I'm mainly driving, you know, just talking to him, having a conversation, like, just talking to him, just having a simple conversation, like 1, 2, like, you know, I'm talking to y'all guys, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm talking to y'all, and I was talking to him about everything, because, y'all, at that point, I felt so alone, like, in my life, I felt so alone, like, I just got out of a really bad toxic relationship. You know, if y'all know, go watch my TikToks, y'all probably know something about it, but I got out of a really bad toxic relationship, and well, I was going through a bad toxic relationship, and I was really depressed, and I was like, fuck, like, you know, I can't do this no more. And then things started to shift, and I was still in this really bad toxic relationship, but he was going away, and I remember like I was talking to my friend Gloria. Hey Glow. I was talking to Glow and I was like, yo Glow, like I ain't gonna lie, like he moving, like maybe this is God speaking to me to like really work on myself now. Maybe I need to just focus on other things. And while I was focusing on other things, I was still getting closer to God. So then I got an apartment with, one of my really close friends. And I was, at that time, I was getting closer to God. Like, there was things where, like, I didn't know, and I was like, okay, God, I can't work this out. So can you handle this? Because I was noticing that the more I talked to God, the more I was conversating with Him, the more that He would fix the situation. And for the first year of first 4 months, I would have conversations with Him, but it wouldn't be in-depth conversations. It would just be, God, I can't fix this. Can you do this? Or God, and I was just asking, God for things. And that only works for so long with God. Like God's like, okay, I'm gonna let you show my glory, but you ain't gonna see it yet. And then I still wasn't happy though, y'all. I mean, I had an apartment, and you might see that I was happy, but I wasn't truly happy. And I remember that in this toxic relationship, before like it basically kind of ended, we had gotten a really big argument, y'all, and it resulted in me falling into anger. And love is not anger. God says it in the Bible. Love is not anger. Love is not envy. And my anger for the situation wasn't me. And I knew that because the anger and y'all, I don't even want to speak on it, but like, it was just on some other shit. Like, I don't know how to even explain this to y'all. It was on some other shit. Like, the anger I felt toward this man because what he did, it was just like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And it took me back because I was like, yo, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get angry like this. Like, I'm not the type of person that acts like this. Like, and I don't know if anybody, if y'all ever got that anger, like that anger where it makes you look back and be like, yo, like, I'm out of my body. Like, this is not me. I don't recognize this person. I couldn't recognize this person for a while. And I prayed. I got off the phone with him. I got off the phone and I prayed. And I was like, you know what, God? Like, this is not me. I'm not this person. I don't know who I am. I don't know what this girl is. Please release whatever demons and whatever cycle, whatever trauma, whatever bondage I have on me. Just release it because I do not know who I am. And yo, I was so far gone that I was like, yo, I don't have another person to marry. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I'll be looking at pictures, y'all, and I'll be like, yeah, you're a bad bitch. But yeah, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look so unhappy, and I was mentally so unhappy. And I just could not recognize the girl in the mirror. I couldn't recognize who I was. I couldn't even recognize, like, who I even became, for real. After that point in time, like, when that happened, y'all, I just clicked the switch of not caring. And I think the resulting of me not caring resulted into me preparing for God to put me in isolation. And that's exactly what God did. And a lot of people, I watched his sermon, and it was like, you can't run away from isolation. Like, when God puts you in isolation, you can't run away from that. God puts you in isolation. Like, he makes the world spit you out. He will lead you in isolation. And that was where I was at. The world had spit me out, and I was in isolation. And it felt like I had nobody. It felt like I literally had nobody. And during that time, I prayed every day. I talked to God every day. Even if it wasn't like a typical prayer, just going outside in nature and just talking to God, walking with God, hearing Him, listening to the sermons. And the more and more I started talking to God, the more and more He started to reveal things about me. He started to reveal that I'm fast to anger, that I do this and that I do that, and I love the way I do this and why I do this and what triggered this to become this. And he took apart the little girl that I was and helped me heal from whatever trauma and whatever hurt that I ever went through, or whatever things that I ever went through. Like, he took it and he basically removed it and healed it. Like, and I'm talking, you know, God does mysterious things. Like, I would talk to him, y'all, and there was, I'm stuttering on my words. There was times where I would talk to God about certain things, and without revealing it to me, He revealed it in a situation of why I did that. Like, so if y'all know, I used to deal with this dude. He was stink for a little bit, and I you know, I love him. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but I love hard. You know what I'm saying? I love really, really hard, and I never understood why I loved hard. And there was a situation that happened. I'm not even gonna speak on it, but there was a situation that happened between me and this person, not instinct, but just between me and a different person in my family, that made me realize later on that this was the reasoning that I loved so hard two unavailable men. And God revealed that to me. And when you're getting closer to God, and basically what I'm saying is, like, God just wants you to talk to Him. Literally, just let Him in. Just tell Him how your day was. Just tell Him how life is going. Even when you feel like your lowest, even if you feel like, you know, even if you feel like you're sinning, just talk to Him. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, people think, oh, you got to do the formal prayer. You just sitting down at night, no distractions, and just simply talking to God. I literally simply talked to God, and He literally grew me in more spiritual ways, and He moved me and provided things that I wasn't even able to provide to myself. He took a little girl, because I wasn't a woman. I'm a woman now, but I was a little girl. He took that little girl and basically revealed it to me. And it's not going to be no easy type of situation. It's not going to be no walk through the dark park. But when you talk to God and let Him move you, and really let Him move you, really let Him do what He needs to do, then you will see that He's going to reveal a lot of things to you. I tell people all the time that I don't need no therapist. God's my therapist. That's serious. Every time that I ask Him a question, every time that I ask Him to reveal something, He would do it. He would do it. Even if it might not be in the timing, He would do it. And I think my biggest problem that I've worked on this now, but my biggest problem was not looking into the small things. A lot of people like to ignore signs and ignore things that just keep coming up, and it's not small. It's something. I mean, in every situation, even now, like, I don't argue or none of that. Even now, I don't want to try to argue or try to raise my voice. I'm still working on it. You know, I'm not no perfect Christian. I'm still working on it. But even now, like, when I just go to God and I just ask Him to reveal things, or just talk to me about a situation or something that I need to do, He might not reveal it right away, but He definitely reveals it in a very small way. It could be the smallest things, y'all. The smallest things. And He does it every time. But You know, just let God do what he needs to do. That's what I'm telling you. Dead serious. Let God do what he needs to do. Just talk to him. And even if it's just like having a conversation, I promise you, God, he's forgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, God, he is very, very forgiving, very, very timely. He's very about time. And I can say, y'all, like, I'm at peace. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really mess with the situation I'm in now, but it's all good. Like, I know that this situation God's in, and he's the anchor of my life. He done brought me through so much time where, like, I just could have been done, or so much things where, like, I should not be here right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should not be talking to y'all on this camera right now. But he really brought me through it, and he can do it for you if you just really just talk to him. Act like he your best friend. Because that's what he is for real. He's everything. Like, he should be everything. Act like he your best friend, business partner, whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, let him be that. Mother, father, sister, brother, lover. Like, you love him. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let him, not like lover in that way, I know what I'm saying. But let him do what he needs to do. Let him transform you to the person you want to be, because that peace and feeling whole and just simply just being happy, like, that's a way better feeling than feeling depressed. Dead serious, y'all. That's a way better feeling than feeling depressed. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't understand that. God makes you whole for real. He heals and sees things that, you know, when you don't feel like nobody there, he there. And I even had to tell my brothers, a lot of people feel like, you know, because a situation happens that God don't hear you. A lot of times, you know, we see so much bad in the world that, like, we just so wired to see bad. Like, we're so wired to see bad. And a lot of times, it's not even look at the bad. Look what you gotta learn. See what he already gave you, and did you neglect what he gave you? Did you neglect the opportunity he gave you? And if you didn't neglect the opportunity, then what is he trying to have you learn so you can progress to what the better thing is? A lot of people like look to like the bad things. Like, that's why when bad things and negative stuff happen, it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, what did I need to learn from that situation? Like, was there something that I need to learn from that situation? Because there's you know, I learn by just being in the situation, being in wisdom. So you know what I'm saying? Like, what did I need to learn? Don't look at the negatives. Because when you look at the negatives, you doubting God. You doubting God and what he able to do. So what a loss of money. Shoot, God gonna triple it. Ain't tripping. Like, it ain't, it's nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have him. Once you feel like you got him, and I'm telling you, y'all, like, when you really talk to God, and you'll be able to get that interaction with him. Once you get that interaction with him, once you see what he's able to do, once you see what he's able to progress in your life, I promise you, y'all, like, it's just like, so what? So what? Like, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, baby. And if it is, God gonna replace whatever it is ×2. Times more than that if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful to be alive, for real. I could be dead and gone, for real. No, for real. Yeah, so anyway, that was just my little spill on how I got my interaction with God, and just telling y'all, like, it's real. He real. And I know a lot of people don't believe that shit, but shit, I was down bad again a couple years ago. And at first, y'all, I looked at a situation like, damn, like I'm back in this situation, but then I don't know, God was like, nah, look where you at now. You might back in the same location, but you ain't in the same situation. You ain't the same. You was that little girl going in the first time and little girl going out, but you're a woman walking in. So just believe, and it's hard, y'all. And I ain't gonna sit here and act like act like, you know, act like that shit ain't for the weak. That shit is not for the weak. But it's really worth it though. It's really worth it when you get that interaction and really know when trust who God is, bro. Cause I know, baby, the purpose that God has in my life, y'all just finna see. Just stay tuned. Y'all already seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all already seen it. Just stay tuned. Like, God is he's amazing. It's amazing what he can do. It's amazing what he can do in a month, a year, 6 months. And you never know. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, what's up? I am out. Peace.